and welcome to CDO Magazine's interview series. I'm Eric Kaplan, CTO of AHEAD, and we're partnering with CDO Magazine in a series of interviews with today's data and technology leaders. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to Satyen Yadav, Chief Development Officer and CTO with Boeing Digital Aviation. Welcome, Satyen.
Thank you, Eric.
Great to have you here today. Maybe you can just start by giving us a quick overview of your role at Boeing Digital Aviation.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I serve as a Chief Development Officer and Chief Technology Officer for this business. And I lead a team of software engineers, data scientists, and subject matter experts in aviation space. And they are spread across North America, Europe, and US. And the key responsibility for us is to deliver innovative digital solution to our business, general aviation, and military aviation customers, commercial customers. And what it means is we are delivering digital solutions for them to be improving the reliability, efficiency in their operations. To give some examples of what some of the solutions we are talking about, one example is flight planning systems that used by our customers, pretty much all commercial airlines around the globe. And we deliver close to 1 million flight plans every month. And these efficient flight planning helps our customers save up to 3% fuel. And as you know, fuel is one of the largest cost of operation for any airlines. The other example comes to my mind is what's called airplane health management system. There we have about 100 customers, about 5,000 planes managed under that portfolio. And we deliver about 5 million what we call analytics insights generate every month. And this is prescriptive and predictive maintenance insight that customers can use. And prescriptive, we can deliver more than three plus weeks in advance so that the customers can arrange the schedule, proper scheduling to avoid any unplanned maintenance that happens to be at another cost. Another example, just quickly, is our crew operations and scheduling portfolio is about 500,000 crew members flying on about 10,000, close to 10,000 airplanes. And this is about how to pair the crew, and then crew would want to bid for different flights. So they would want to prefer different routes, and airlines let them do that. So our system enables both efficiency, but also the customer preferences on that. So that's just some examples of what we do.
Yeah, very interesting. What excites you? The data and technology space is so broad right now. Means a lot of different things to different people. What excites you most right now?
Yeah, so the first thing is, like many other industry, there's a big data aspects. So aeroplanes generate a lot of data. Typical flight in US could be generating 4 terabytes of data per flight. So there's a lot of data generated from operations perspective, from the flight, from everything else that the airlines do. And this combined with the historical data is giving us a good foundation to run analytics, to run and predict. I talked about predictive maintenance earlier. And so what excites me is there's aspects of big data, and this industry has lots of exciting big data. The second is the improvement in machine learning and AI algorithms that we have seen, and now application of that in this specific industry, and because the base, as I talked about. And third is I have a background in what you call edge computing or edge AI sometimes, which is bringing the analytics closer to workload, closer to the operation. For us, it's bringing it to the engineers or pilots. And so the combination of those things are really exciting in the industry. And if I look forward beyond our current state of the industry and think about autonomous systems, or we call it unmanned air vehicles or UAVs, or unmanned traffic management, this is all driven based on the data underneath. And we provide, I call it Google Maps for sky. So pretty much all commercial airlines use our data to fly. So this is actual navigation data, aeronautics data, where we have data related to obstacles, airport regulations around the airspace. So combination of that is needed to for the commercial flights. And so if I think about how we extend our industry beyond where we are, data is going to be the fuel, data is going to be and data analytics or machine learning will be the key. And so those are really exciting aspects of our industry.
Yeah, I like how you call data the fuel, especially for your business. How is Boeing, from an digital aviation perspective? Obviously, COVID has been a big impact to a lot of different businesses. Has it impacted any of your key initiatives? Has it accelerated any key initiatives that you have?
So first is, I think like any other businesses, COVID has an impact on the way we work. So there's a significant impact on, we went all virtual, in a very short period, had to actually figure out how to actually operate. So one of the things that I understand, I have learned through my career is as a large economy and industry, when we go through some of these crises, is where I think there is a more adoption of the optimized solution. In this case, we do digital solution. So for our industry, this has a step back for our customers to look at where they are, how they have been using it, and as they come out of this pandemic situation, I expect them to use more digital solutions. And one of the example I give is if you go back to 2008 financial crisis, leading up to that, there was IT department would have their own data centers, and the cloud actually industry was created, I say, because of financial crisis, in 2008 financial crisis, because what happened post that, every IT department had to look at it, where they are in their infrastructure. Do they buy more hardware, new software, or they go pay as you go model? And so for our industry, so that's transformed the way we think of the technology and the technology aspects in many industries. For our industry, if we think about how some of these digital solutions that have been produced, many times our customers have not had time to try them out or spend enough time to experiment. So what we have seen is, first, our business is diverse. Commercial aviation is where we have made biggest impact, but we serve business aviation, general, so smaller aircraft, and military aviation. And so combination of businesses is diverse. But more importantly to me is customers now more willingness to explore the digital solution. So I expect the growth of digital adoption in the industry is going to be accelerated due to this. And then customers will not go back to the older ways of doing it. They're going to look forward to how to improve those efficiency in their operations. So I'm looking forward to actually acceleration of our digital solution in our industry.
That's great. Maybe switching gears a bit, innovation as a whole and accelerating the use of digital, as you just said, within your customer base is obviously a key priority. How do you define innovation within your organization?
So we measure innovation in terms of what impact better outcome that we are able to help our customers achieve. And so that's really the grounding of how we think about innovation. And so the two aspects of that we look for within our industry, one is ongoing improvement, continuous improvement, and I think more digital solution gets adopted and more places we try to connect the different functions. And so are we innovating on connecting the dots? And then the second type of innovation that I can think of is how are we helping customers improve their decision making through the contextual understanding. So for example, in our industry, the disruption could be caused due to weather and other aspects. So as you're making a decision, how quickly you can adopt the contextual situation. And third is I kind of talked about continuous feedback. So that's how we think about the innovation. Now, in terms of, if you think about what I just mentioned early on around improvements in a human, if you look at the human history, the innovation has been the key to economic growth and the key to how we have got to this point. And I see that innovation in the aviation industry helping us connect the world so the distances are smaller, But more important for us is how do we manage the aspects of like carbon emission. So another innovation that we drive is helping our customers run their operations efficiently. We use less fuel, and I can anticipate as a broader aviation industry where things are going to go. So innovation is going to be continue to play a key role, both in terms of how our customers run their operation, how they do it, but as in general for us as a human society in terms of how we want to continue to improve overall carbon footprint,
Yeah.
Avoiding unnecessary emission, things like that. Yeah.
That's great. When you think about your role in particular, you just talked about, the cloud, the data aspects of your role, the fact that you're dealing in a highly technical industry around aviation as well. How do you stay current on everything that's going on from cloud to different analytics platforms? And how do you decide what pieces of technology you deploy within Boeing as well?
Yeah, so in terms of staying update, first part of your question, staying up to date with the technology. So first is I'm an avid reader, read a lot.
Yeah.
And read a lot about a lot of topics, not necessarily just the technology, science, and history or other topic that I keep up. So that's definitely a primary source, one of the source of information. Second, interaction with the customer. Every time you talk to customers, you understand what jobs they're trying to do, what matters to them. And that reflects back to, they're learning. It's not necessarily technology learning, but learning in terms of what challenges ahead of us, what trends that we should worry about. And the way to, another one would be in discussion with folks like yourself in the industry. So I do participate in these kind of panel conversation or having a peer one-on-one conversation. And those, especially when we have this conversation, how the technology could be adopted in different industry gives you a different insight. So not necessarily focus on aviation. I speak to folks who may be in oil and gas and manufacturing and other places. So that is definitely a big source of where I drive my understanding. And then the working with the team. Most of we talked about innovation earlier. And if you think about once the teams have understanding of what the customers are being, challenges they are facing in the jobs they're trying to do, I love to have a discussion with the team. We run hackathons, biannual hackathons, where teams are coming with ideas. So engaging the team on what they came up with, what they prototype in terms of, and so the second part of question is the way we try to apply the technology is start with customer jobs to be done that they are trying to achieve what they're trying to achieve, understanding the complexity of the environment they live in and understanding of other constraints they live in. And then as we solving the problem, see how can we improve that outcome. And then we look at what technology can be best suited. Obviously, the machine learning AI gets a lot of attention, but if you go back to things like graph theory is coming back and graph database is coming back or blockchain, but these, those technologies is what I understand where they could be applied. But I think the natural course of innovation and deciding is based on our understanding of where customers are today, what trends are telling us where they want to be in future, and based on our own understanding, how do we combine these things? And that's really wow. We try to make the decision on which technology to adopt.
So really starting, which I think most companies try to do, starting with the customer first and understanding their requirements and working backwards from there. You mentioned your team, the distributed nature of Boeing, I'm sure as a global organization. How have you unified your team in terms of, attacking these analytics problems and really working in a global setting, especially during COVID?
Yeah, so first we have a large portfolio. So one of the way we have organized ourselves is different locations have some center of excellence around different functional area within the industry. So for example, one place we are more producing the data, navigation data, and flight planning system that goes close to each other. Then another location we have more of a maintenance, and so we take advantage of broader Boeing as my team, where the Boeing technical experts and other expertise is available. So organizationally, we take advantage of the global footprint and global access to global talent in the areas. And the way we functionally inside, the way we work is agile. So we have obviously it's agile software development, but agile framework, a framework called SAFe is what we have adopted. There's a concept of integrated product team, where you have product managers, product owners, architects, and the development team come together, and other functions, they come together and working in an agile fashion, and they do the backlog grooming based on the priority. So the goal for us is incremental innovation, incremental updates to our technology on a faster cycle. So it's easier for our customers to adopt, because smaller updates are much easier to understand how they can take advantage of it. But also in general, agile reduces the risks. And because it's the shorter the cycle, you learn quickly. And if there's a risk, those are smaller risks. You can overcome that easily if you need to adjust. And the goal is to adjust quickly based on our learning. And so we try to keep up. And then IPT, or the integrated product teams, is our core setup, where teams decide what's the most important, how do they quickly move towards the market needs that they are seeing it, or the new solution they need to produce.
Interesting. Maybe as we just wrap up here, is there anything you'd like to share just when you think about leveraging data and all the services that Boeing Digital provides in terms of interesting experiences that have you've driven through digital transformation and enablement that would be interesting for folks to hear?
Yeah, so I'll share kind of I talked about our aeronautics data that we produce. I call it Google Maps of Sky. So we have some very interesting history behind it, and it started close to 85 years back. There's a gentleman named Earl Ray Jeppesen who used to be a pilot, and he used to draw the geographic aspects of what he saw from the sky, and then he started making those points on for his own use, and then he shared this with some of his pilots, and then they found it very interesting, and he started business selling. They started creating a book of navigation maps that he started, and then he started selling it, and he saw a new business opportunity and quit his job as a pilot from United Airlines, I believe, and then started a company called Jeppesen. And so where we are, that's our history, where we started. But until just recently, if you go back before 2007, most of the pilots were flying with what's called flight bag. And it's a black briefcase that they'll carry with all these different navigation charts. So we have gone from charts to pure digital when iPad became a instrument for us to take the paper chart and digitize them and deliver to the pilot. It gives a lot more flexibility. You can give the real-time changes to that. So not only we transition from being a paper to digital, but in terms of the new solutions we are able to deliver, obviously the latest charts are available, what's called NOTAM, Notice to Airmen. These are the regulatory body changes that could take place, needs to be delivered. But more interestingly, if you have noticed, if you had latest flight experience, the turbulence has been a rare occurrence now, because pilots actually get the latest weather. We have a product called Winds Update, which basically we deliver the latest forecasting of when pilot both can adjust to have giving flying passengers a good experience, but also use that same information to optimize their fuel consumption. And so we have many examples of the transformation that we have driven through the digital, but I really like to call back, because that's our core to our business, of how we are extending the value of the navigation data beyond just the pure navigation, and delivering the real-time insights and real-time updates that the pilots and the rest of the aviation professionals can use to make better decisions So I thought I'd share this with you.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's fascinating to see how, one set of data or one use case, then you blossom into two or three other use cases leveraging similar data sets, and you expand the use cases from weather and turbulence to how to save fuel and have optimal flight paths. So Satyan, thank you so much for joining me today. It was great to have you, and look forward to having future discussions.
Thank you, Eric. It was my pleasure. Really enjoyed our conversation, and thanks for having me.